What is up, winners? Welcome back to another high value chat on the podcast that feeds your mind, body, and soul everything you need to build your dream life, whatever that looks like for you. My name is Jack William, founder of Anarchy Label and host of Before the Money. In today's episode, I had the gift of sitting down and sharing knowledge with Sydney-based hip-hop artist Noah. Now, when I first came across his content, it was on an Instagram Live, and I was really captivated, not only because he's very talented lyrically and his flow is very captivating as well, but mostly I was captivated by the content that he was discussing in his rhymes. Now, his music features values that I hold very highly on my value ladder, I guess you could say. You know, things like expanding your consciousness, taking care of your body, your mind, your soul, reading books, and just in general progressing your life for the greater good. Now, this episode is quite special because he's releasing it just in time for the launch of his new album, which will be dropping on the 22nd of February 2022. Now, if we break those numbers down, you'll see what kind of guy he really is. 22 of the 2nd, 2. Now, some of the topics we covered include harnessing your creativity, inspiration for the album, as well as the process and network required to make that happen, habits and life structures for success, influential books, both his and mine, finding and accepting your passions. Notice I said passions there as a plural, and so much more. Now, I'm sure, just like you, we dream of living in a world where everybody is striving to be the best version of themselves they possibly can be. So if you resonate with this episode, if you get a little bit of value, please leave behind 5 stars and share this with someone you love. Seriously, it helps so much more than you could possibly ever imagine. Knowledge is the best gift we can give someone. And the best part is, in this case, it is absolutely free. However, if you do feel like you want to take your support just that step further, head over to anarchylabel.com, check out their awesome range, and use the code BTM15 to save 15% off your entire order. So, without further ado, I really want to get stuck into this one because I'm excited. Grab your pens, and I will see you in the studio. All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of Before the Money. I am joined by the very talented Noah. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Absolutely superb. I'm on cloud 9.
I'm on cloud 9 as well, man. I've been on cloud for a minute.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, for anyone who is only listening, they don't get the visual spectacle here. You're in your freestyle booth. I recognize that well.
I am, yeah. This is my little home studio I've set up over the past, few months. COVID's got me really at home and spending all my money on studio. So, yeah, it's really well. I've recorded most of my album in here, so that's worked for me perfect.
Wow, that's brilliant, man. So let's kick it off with the famous question from Before the Money.
Mm-hmm.
What gets you fired up, brother?
What gets me fired up, man? Really it all comes down to just sort of self-growth. Like that sort of just gets me fired up to do anything. The want and really the need to sort of improve myself and using that sort of growth of myself to sort of inspire others. Inspiring, the world is also what sort of fires me up in my times of sort of self-doubt or anything. I'm always like, come on, what's the purpose? If you could inspire people, get up and get moving for sure. That's what definitely fires me up more than most. More than anything,
100%,
really.
man. And like I was saying to you briefly before we started recording, I listen to your music and I hear like your perspective and I hear your kind of drive for growth and personal kind of optimization in your lyrics. Like, you're talking about breath work, you're talking about reading books, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. And that's what first really kind of captivated me with your style is like you don't hear that many people talking about it, let alone, incorporating that into like their music as well. So what got you started down like that journey of self-development? Were you always that kind of person or?
No way. It was sort of definitely my late teens. Really as the first lockdown was definitely the first lockdown now that I think about it. Like building up to that, I had put on a bit of weight and I was, I had this sort of negative outlook on myself. And that first lockdown hit and my brother, who is a professional CrossFit athlete, he, that first lockdown, he started a sort of home gym out the back. And that sort of encouraged me to like get off my ass and stop watching Netflix and playing, PlayStation and start training. And that was sort of the first time I had really like worked on myself and like seen progress being made. And then, staying dedicated with that then led into my, me meditating, getting a bit more spiritual. I really felt in tune with that side, and those two sort of went hand in hand. And yeah, that sort of kicked off my self growth, and then that also led into me discovering my love for music and this talent that I had never even ventured into. I'd never discovered it. So
Wow.
yeah, that's where it all really started, just through
So,
training. And yeah,
so the music side of things is quite new for you then.
it's quite new. I've definitely been like growing up, I was a massive music head in sort of
Yeah.
like I knew all the lyrics to every song, the top 40 on MTV. I was like always tuned into every weekend, but it never crossed my mind. I even wrote a few songs for like my year 7 girlfriend and my girlfriend through high school, but it never even
Yeah.
crossed my mind to like, oh my God, I'm good. I should do this. It was just sort of
Yeah.
like, I know I can write. I'll write your little thing. But yeah, and then coming out of it, I was like, wait, let me just try and write like a little Jack Harlow type song. And then I
Hmm.
wrote Confidence, which was the first song I ever wrote, and I was like, bro, this is good. I mean, the message behind it's nothing, nothing really, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's how I sort of discovered it for sure.
So what made you kind of make that jump then? Like, was it just the fact like, oh, I'm bored, let me try and pass some time, or did you just get like this kind of calling to it?
I don't know really. It was sort of just yeah, we're in lockdown, and I was already working on myself and trying new things without caring about what people thought, which was definitely my entire teenage and childhood years. It was a lot of like what people think of me, and that sort of shaped who I was and how I acted. And then being in lockdown really gave me that whole I'm just here with me 100% of the time. If I meditate, like I don't really care what
Hmm.
anyone says. One, no one's watching, and two, my friends, like if they don't like it, then are they really my friends?
Hmm.
So yeah, that really made me want to try new things. Reading, I was reading consistently, and people would laugh at reading, but like, bro, reading is one of the best things you can do for yourself. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what got me. It was more just yeah, working on myself and just wanting to constantly try new things, and then that's how I sort of discovered that and opened up that new talent and passion.
Wow. It's interesting you kind of touched on the fact that like doing things that better ourselves are of, especially in like the schooling and teenage years, are kind of
Yeah,
made
for
fun
sure.
of, you know, but
Uh-huh.
my
100%.
whole kind of purpose with this podcast is to make it cool to care, basically, you know.
Yeah.
Why on earth is it something to be laughed
Uh-huh.
at when you're trying to
Yeah,
improve yourself? It's like
for
who's going
sure.
to be laughing at the end? You know?
Yeah, it's always made like
Yeah.
people make fun of the try hard. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean, man? It's life. Like, try your
Hmm.
fucking hardest, man. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? You don't want to try hard. So yeah,
100%.
it's definitely a big thing in schooling and coming through high school. It's always stick with the crowd and don't do anything different, or you're sort
Hmm.
of ostracized for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's just it, man. And like I recorded a really great episode last night with a very intelligent dude named Lewis Huckstep, and
Uh huh.
we spoke quite a lot about just like the power of our tribal instincts. And like if you break it down, like if we are ostracized from the tribe, you know, we get eaten by a mountain lion. If we're kind of abandoned by our mother or by our friends, we'll get eaten or we'll starve to death or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's three things that we are intrinsically born to fear. That's heights, loud noises, and like losing our tribe basically or being ostracized. All of those three
Mm-hmm.
things lead to death in like our kind of
Yeah.
natural settings when we were
Yeah.
tribal
Natural. Yeah.
beings, you know. So it makes perfect
That's
sense, but at the
yeah.
same
It
time,
does for sure.
yeah, the same time it's like, you know, we need to take control of our mind and actually realize that, hey, you know, I don't live in the jungle anymore, and all
Exactly.
I have
Yeah.
all these opportunities at my fingertips, you know. And
Yeah.
unfortunately the road to success can be quite lonely, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially
For
like
sure.
because there's so much time that you have to just spend inside your own
Yeah.
mind because that's where you find the answers.
100%. That's who you're
100%.
with. You're with yourself, 100% of the time.
Hmm.
And touching on what you said about the tribe, it's like, you grow up in school and, you have your friend group through school and through high school. But when you come out of high school, like, you're not spending like 5 days a week, hours on hours a day, then the weekend, you're not spending that with the same people. That's,
Hmm.
that was sort of just a tribe that was sort of forced on you. And when you come out of, high school or any sort of situation, you're forced to fend for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people don't take that leap where you're, trust in yourself and just do what interests you. But a
Hmm.
lot of people, stick with the sheep and go, yeah, just it's that's another thing that fires me up. Like people self doubt. It's something that we all go through for
Hmm.
sure. But yeah, self doubt, and that always makes you fall back into the pack, whatever's the pack doing. And
Yeah.
yeah,
When you say like that fires you up, do you mean like overcoming self doubt?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Seeing people around me, being in conversation, and someone talks about, oh, it's too late to do this, or I can't do that, or I don't know enough about it to do it. It's like, well, stop doubting yourself and like
Hmm.
learn, grow. Like it's only going to benefit you. It's only going to benefit you also for learning that, but also, subconsciously learning something new makes you like grow. You're just
Hmm.
you once you know you can do something, you can do anything. You can tick off anything you
Yeah.
really want to do in life, whether it's picking up a book right now or achieving something in 10 years.
So on that note, how do you think you kind of taking on music and becoming this person has affected
Hmm.
other areas of your life?
Oh, heavily, man, heavily for sure. I've never really had a routine. I've never had any sort of organization in my life and any drive. I mean, you go through school and your work ethic is sort of based off how you do in math class or how you do in, school. But I feel like work ethic should really be based off what your passion is, what you're passionate about, because that's where you really find people really work hard in
Hmm.
that aspect. No one wants to work hard for something they don't want to do. Can't force someone to put their all and do yeah, what do their best in something that they're really not interested in. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's where that sort of builds up from, and having that the music has made me sort of just constantly, wanting to better myself. It solely came back to me wanting to better my writing ability, and that came to me doing like writing drills every day, and
Hmm.
then doing that made me want to gain a morning routine. So I started having cold showers, and then on top of that, then you start adding in affirmations and meditation and stretching, and this has just completely improved my life. A positive mindset, barely anything is taken negatively,
Hmm.
and that all stems back to sort of finding my passion, and that sort of gave me this like I need to grow up a bit and like
Hmm.
really sort my life out and get myself set for the next like 5, 10, 20 years. And the earlier you start, the better with really anything.
Yeah, that's so powerful, man. And like the morning routine side of things, like it
Hmm.
I've started to notice that over the last like kind of 12 months where I've actually been
Yeah.
disciplined, but discipline has gotten really easy. Like you said, I'll reiterate, when you are passionate, when there's a really strong why,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Your drive for sure.
really difficult to go to the gym, if there's nothing really intrinsically motivating you to go to the gym. Whereas
Hmm.
like this is a horrible example, but say for instance you're really trying to win over this really, really hot girl, right? You've got the biggest crush on her. You're gonna work out
Yeah.
so fucking hard,
Yeah. 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 Hard.
because there's a really strong
Yeah.
why, and that's
Uh huh.
life.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about on this podcast, like finding your values and finding what it is that really kind of lights you up, and that's why I love having
Hmm.
conversations with people like you and seeing your
Hmm.
perspective on the world, because
For
then it
sure.
just opens up my horizons. Like I'm not a hip hop artist, I can't write music, but having this conversation with you and seeing how we relate on certain areas, it's like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely fantastic. So this podcast has been
Exactly.
incredible experience. So I also
Nah, for sure. Same.
want to ask you another question as well, and
Okay.
this is coming from me personally, because I hear you mention in some of your songs your past relationship with weed. Now I've kind of got like a love hate relationship with weed, have for like the
Yeah.
last kind of 4 or 5 years.
Uh huh.
So I just want to kind of hear your take on it, why you kind of decided to step back and how it was affecting your life, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. No, for sure. Whew, you know, you go through when you're in a, you're smoking consistently. It's not, you don't look at it bad. It's not,
Hmm.
weed isn't something. Weed isn't a hard drug. It's not like cocaine. It's not like meth. It's
Hmm.
marijuana. It's like cool. You smoke a joint. It's cruisy. It's all right. Like it's nothing crazy. The thing that so I have a sort of good outlook on marijuana, but the thing I have a bad outlook on is abusing it.
Hmm.
That's what sort of took me down a really you know bad path. I started my music journey and I was really dedicated, and then the weed sort of I was using it as a creative force, and I would go on Omegle and freestyle to people and smoke weed with them and do all these cool things, which was incredible. I loved it. But that then led to me smoking. And instead of writing tonight, I'm going to watch Netflix. And then,
Yeah.
one unproductive day leads to one unproductive week, one unproductive month, one unproductive year. Next thing you know, you're looking back and you're like, I've just wasted this whole year, which is what I did. I sort of got months down the track, and with my first 3 releases, I didn't do anything. Like, I still haven't got a music video out. It's like I'd sort of lost that dedication. I was smoking and barely writing, and it really took me off my journey and off my path, definitely. So
Mhm.
me realizing that and sort of having to choose, it's like, just cut the weed out for now. If you want to get back into it, sure, but like, that's something that needs to be cut off for me to build this self-love and self-belief back in myself, that I can do this stuff sober. Like,
Mhm.
if I could do it sober, then yeah, once I'm comfortable with my ability to stick to a routine, to stay disciplined, to do all this stuff, then sure, I can dibble dabble, which I do here and then. Like, there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with, having it here and then, but definitely abusing it is what sort of made me pull back, having bad experiences. And yeah, it really put me in my place. And I was like, all right, I got to fix my life. Like, what am I doing? Do I want to
Mhm.
keep smoking and working at this bartending job my whole life while just half-heartedly going at music and a career trying to like inspire the world? Or do I really want to be the change I want to see in the world and get to work, cut the weed out? And if it comes in my later life, then cool. But right now, it can't be here. It can't be present.
Yeah. I like that line as well. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's super powerful. Hey.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
100%.
So
That's
yeah.
interesting because we've got a very similar outlook. I was kind of like smoking every day, never like a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but just
Mm-hmm.
consistently every day. And what I
Yeah.
found is similar to like what you said is it made what's the word I'm trying to find here? It lowered my self standards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
was
yeah.
still putting in hours of work, but I found, like, looking back in retrospect, I wasn't working on the hard tasks. I was just
Mm-hmm.
completing tasks, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
It was like you were just ticking, doing
Ticking
work
boxes.
of the day.
Yeah.
I did work. All right, let me go smoke. It's
Yeah.
like, no, like, don't smoke and just add on another thing and do that hard thing that you've been thinking of for a while, but
Yeah.
it just keeps getting pushed away. Yeah, yeah. I feel
Exactly.
you for sure on that one.
Exactly. And say like I haven't kind of smoked probably like the last 5 or so months.
Mm-hmm. I'll
The
join
odd
you, man.
joint here and there,
Yeah, yeah.
with friends, but I haven't smoked, and it's like that clarity that kind of came to me. I felt like superhuman, man. My communication
Yeah, yeah,
skills,
yeah.
like, you mentioned
Uh-huh.
before we got started, like you've noticed the content for the podcast and like in my life really pick up, and that's just
Yeah,
because like I've got this drive now. Like I'm not numbing
yeah,
myself anymore, and that's
yeah,
basically all it was.
exactly. I'm glad
Mm.
you said you feel like superhuman, because
Yeah.
that's sort of what happens. You stop smoking weed and your senses pick up, man. I'll
Mhm.
be at work and like, something will drop off the counter and I'll just like I just catch it so sick, and I'll be like, bro, I know for a fact like that would happen months ago, and I
Yeah.
would not even like compute that just fell. And
Mhm.
it's the weed, it's as funny as that is, catching something that fell. It's true, your senses pick up. You're more here in the moment. You're not, smoking to numb yourself, smoking to,
Yeah.
get high and have fun, but really you're smoking just to kill the time.
Yeah.
And time, that's something I've now come to realize as well. Time is like, brother, 1 hour is something. I could write a hit song that changes my life. I could go, I
Mhm.
could go out to the club when all my friends are going, or I could stay home, and that could be the night that changes my family's whole future for generations. And it's like,
Mhm.
what, obviously it's a bit of a heavy way of looking at it, and every
Mm.
night, still enjoy being human, but
Mm.
yeah, there's
That's the
sacrifices have to
balance.
be made.
That's the balance. It's like when you
Hmm.
when you're so hungry for success and you're motivated, it's like, yeah, every second is an opportunity to change your life, but at the same time as
Uh-huh.
well, like living in
Yeah.
the moment is just as powerful because like understanding and reacting to the world around you is what gives us our fuel, especially as creatives, man.
Yeah.
We are kind of the people that narrate the world. And we it filters through our vision, through our perspective, and that's why it's kind of
Yeah.
so important to be feeding yourself new information from books, doing
Hmm.
breath work, meditation, all that kind of stuff, and really refining that
Yeah.
lens of the world. Super
For sure.
powerful. So
And that
I've got
only happens from,
another,
like you said, being present. Yeah.
yeah.
Go on.
100%, man. So, you mentioned a lot about breath work and books and all that kind of stuff in your music. Is there
Hmm.
any particular kind of a book that really flicked the switch for you, or maybe got you started down this path?
There's definitely a few, yeah. I sort of got them from, I grew up listening to a lot of Russ. If you know about Russ, the artist, he's
Hmm.
incredible. Always just independent, years on years independent, and he's finally, getting the recognition he deserves. But so from him, I saw he has a bunch of songs where he talks about, the books he's read, and he mentions The Alchemist, which was one of the first books I read, and that changed my whole. I was like, this is incredible.
Hmm.
And then um, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by
Hmm.
Deepak Chopra, incredible. And that was one of the big books that really put me on my journey of spirituality and being in tune and trying to vibrate and at a high vibration and keep my positivity, like positive thoughts rolling and working for a success, working towards my goals
Mm.
while using this to sort of elevate it. It's like a cheat code, man. It's like life's a game, and
Yeah,
you can play it or you can hack into these little cheat codes that accelerate success and manifest everything into existence. But
100%.
yes, that book and those two books were the first two that definitely kicked it off for me for sure.
Yeah, interesting. And were you much of a reader before that?
I was when I was super young, like primary school, early, like towards year three, and then it
Hmm.
just dipped off as you sort of get more into the social world and
Hmm.
whatnot. But yeah, I'm lucky that my parents sort of grew me up, or parents brought me up on a lot of reading and books. So I remember I wrote a zombie apocalypse book when I was like 8 years old. I wrote like a 9 page book.
Yeah.
It's funny that I just remember that now. So
Mm.
yeah, now I'm obsessed with reading. I mean, I just read Dune, the movie that just came out with
Hmm.
Zendaya and stuff. I just read that book, and it was the first fiction book I've read
Yeah.
for a while. The rest have been like self help books, and that I'm obsessed with it. So, it's
Yeah.
yeah, reading is something that is now a love of mine, and I'm excited to. Yeah, books are incredible, man. I
Hmm.
encourage everyone I meet to sort of read.
Yeah. I'm the exact same, and like it's such a superpower. You can absorb someone's whole life
Yeah.
perspective in the space of like 10 hours, you know? And
Uh
like I
huh.
love the phrase that you said cheat code because it literally is. It's like you can go through
Yeah.
your whole life and you can like
Hmm.
fail and do all these different things to try and learn, or you can just listen to someone else's story that
Yeah.
they've
These
just
people experience stuff. These people
yeah.
go through experiences, similar to ours, and you know, unique in their own sort of way. Everyone lives their own different life, but these people go through stuff, and I feel like a lot of the general population just discard a lot of like, the people, the influencers that try and talk, try to inspire. They sort of like talk down on them, and it's a lot of, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's
Mm,
just a stock investor or something. But these
mm,
people, man, they've gone through their own hardships, and just have taken the time to read up on their lives. It's not going to do you any harm. It's only
mhm,
going to grow your perspective and give you more insight on how to deal with your own sort of problems, your own life for sure. And
mm,
reading other, yeah, it's incredible. Self help books are the best
mm.
thing you could do for yourself for sure.
100%. And like a lot of the time when you just mentioned that, people try to like discredit the information and stuff. And a lot of that time that comes from fear, like they don't want
Hmm.
to believe that there's an answer because then that means they have to take
Yeah,
action on it, you know?
exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Interesting,
People
man.
are so placid in the sense of they're just moving along, and they're
Mm,
just not to talk down on everyone. Everyone has their own lives and their own path, but a lot of people aren't really on the path. It's
mm,
like wake up and take the first step. Everyone sort of looks at, with my music at the start, it was like, oh my God, like, how am I going to be a famous rapper? Like, what am I talking about? I'm from Sydney, and like,
mhm,
what do you mean? Like, I've only just started writing, and I'm like 18. But it's just sort of like, you just take the first step, and then you take the second step, and the next step, and the next thing you know, you're 100 meters, kilometers, and years down the
mm,
track closer to your dream.
yeah,
And yeah, people get too frightened by the bigger aspect of things. But I love this
mm,
quote. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10.
yeah.
And that is just so true.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like, I can't believe we're in 2022 already because like last
Way
year
too
and the
quick.
year before that, it just went by in a blink, and
Crazily, way
this
too
year we'll do
fast.
the same. This year we'll do the
Uh-huh.
exact same. So, when you're kind of feeling like unfocused or overwhelmed or all that kind of stuff, what do you do? What kind of questions do you ask yourself?
It really just comes back to, just a self-love and the routine is what recently has kept me really in check. I've had a couple days where I might, have worked from 5:30 till just say 4, and then I have a session from 6 to 12, and then I
Hmm.
get home and I still need to tick off a few of my checklist stuff, and it's like,
Hmm.
just get to work, just do the work. And yeah, it definitely, when I'm feeling down on myself, it comes down to, yeah, I feel like everything sort of just comes back to self-love, and that's how you can sort of, self-love, loving yourself makes you want to grow, makes you want to learn, makes you want to stay building on yourself, makes you want to keep working and keep pushing at it, no matter how down you are, having that appreciation of you and whatnot. It sort of just it drives you to improve and drives you to just keep at it, just keep pushing and just keep going. But yeah,
Mm.
that's for me. For me, that's what really works.
Yeah, I suppose we owe it to ourselves to put in the work, don't we?
Uh-huh.
Mm. Yeah, interesting, man. So what are you working on at the moment? I know you've got an album coming out 22nd of
Yeah,
February.
that's the one.
Yeah.
22nd of February,
Yeah.
22nd of the second, 22, which is the
Oh,
year.
damn.
It's the end of, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty cool numbers.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been working on that since one of the songs on there I wrote back in late 2020, which is crazy to think of. But yeah, so I've been working on that really for just over a year. But most of the newer songs have come within the last, 5, 6 months, and really been putting in the work and trying to stay dedicated and trying to stay consistent. And yeah, we got 9 songs on the album. We got Currency on there, and then went 8 new ones. And it's
Hmm.
just it's I'm really happy. I'm really excited to get it out there, man. It's all like this kind of talk. You've heard a few of the songs, and
Hmm.
it's none of the early songs where I'm talking about, just talking rubbish, just talking rubbish. This is, I'm sort of on
Yeah.
this purpose. I feel like a purpose through my purpose is to just inspire, man, inspire the world, inspire billions, and have my music be able to make someone want to, take that first step, help someone out of a hard time they're in, or open someone's mind to what's going on. As long as one person can, as long as my music can help one person, I'm happy, man. Whether there's money or not, like I'm
Yeah.
cruising right now. It's just I could work the rest of my life as a bartender, and as long as one person's getting inspired, bro, I'm good.
Where do you think that desire comes from to help people?
I don't know, man. I mean, I've always been a semi-compassionate. I'm definitely a mama's boy for sure. I've grown up, yeah, always having that compassionate sort of, you know, care for others, and yeah, it was really that was me my whole life, and I never really took that care upon myself. I never looked at myself and took care of me. I was always, yeah, taking that extra mile for others and not for myself. And when I
Hmm.
finally did that, it made me realize that doing it for myself can can make me help others way more than what I was doing without loving me. So I've grown this way bigger drive and passion to inspire others through my passion of music.
Hmm.
And on top of that, just through being me and being a brand, be using myself as like the example, trying to live through what I speak. I can't talk about all this, talk about, waking up in the morning, having a cold shower and then reading and then meditating if I'm not doing it.
Hmm.
So it's like, the album is, it's what I live, and using what I live to try and just inspire everyone else. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
sort of the goal, man.
I love that. And what's the album called?
I am,
I
which
am.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
I am, which is something I've been doing for
Hmm.
since I first started. I mean, the box that you sent me of the clothes actually has my 200 pages roughly of daily affirmations I was doing like 2 years ago. And so that's right here under my desk in
How
there. It's
good's
got the
that?
sign you
Yeah.
wrote, hard work will pay off. And
Hmm.
then there's this book here I've got. It's my daily affirmation book. And it's just, I am filled with like daily affirmations of I am. So when I started working the album, I was like, it's only right to,
Mm,
this is that period of my life where it's like I am, and then manifesting whatever it is, I am successful.
mm,
You speaking it into the present, you're already living it. It's a
mm,
knowing, like I know everything's going to come to me in due time. I am already that. It's not I
mhm,
will chase my dreams. I am living my dream life right now.
mhm.
I am everything. Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
the inspiration behind the album. And then I realized I didn't even have a song about I am. So then I wrote I am, and that's
Mhm,
become one of my favorite songs. It's like an instruction on
mm.
manifesting and what I am is, the law of attraction. Just, yeah, I'm very excited for this album, man.
Yeah, that's powerful, bro. And like I love that mentality. That was something that was drilled into me from a very young age. Like thankfully through my mum. You know, we always had vision
Oh,
boards
good.
and
Yeah.
stuff when we were young.
Oh, how good's that? Yeah.
You know, and it's like it again back to what we were saying before. It's so easy to discredit if you don't want to like hand over power to the universe. But at the end of the day, it's
Hmm.
like all it is just kind of so one thing that I learnt in the last year that's super powerful. It's like when we have memories, right? They're just basically these little storages of information in our brain. And when we imagine things and we do these manifestations, we are essentially creating memories in our brain that are just future paced. Our brain doesn't
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
they
It's true.
that they haven't happened
Yeah.
yet. And so therefore we bring them into our existence. We bring them
Uh huh.
into our consciousness. And our reticular activating system then seeks out more of that information,
Yeah.
you know? So it's super
That's very
powerful. Like
true. Yeah,
this
for sure.
like science has proven manifestation time and time again. And at
Hmm.
the end of the day, it's just making yourself like feel worthy. That's a number one, like most
Yeah.
important point when you're going after big goals. It's like you got to remind yourself that hey, this is possible for me. Because if
Hmm.
you don't overcome that hurdle, it'll never
Yeah.
happen. You know.
Yeah. You got to build. You have to be the person that builds your own confidence, build
Hmm.
your own motivation. No one's ever always motivated at all. I'm rarely
Hmm.
motivated. It's like, but you get up and you got to do what you got to do. I love that you mentioned vision boards, man.
Hmm.
Vision. I have a vision board right in front of me. I just put
Hmm.
it in my studio probably a few months ago when I was building it all up, and it's one of the best things I've done. Visualizing is something that I told everyone. I'm like, just if you getting into this sort of life, if you're chasing a dream, if you really want something to come your way, if you're already meditating and doing these things, visualizations and visualizing is one of the most powerful tools you can do. If I've got a picture of a car I want to get my dad when I'm at the level
Hmm.
financially, and I like to sit back, meditate, and I just envision myself. I got my hand on the wheel, or I look to my left and my dad's got his hand on the
Hmm.
wheel and he's got a smile on his face, and I look out the window and I'm somewhere overseas on like a tropical island, and it's like this is the life I'm
Hmm.
envisioning. And that, as you said, it creates that memory and you bring it into your own universe. You are the master of your own universe, and visualizing definitely brings that to the forefront. It's like you're creating the game through the
Hmm.
cheat code.
Yeah, exactly. So do you have a clear vision of what like your kind of future life looks like, where whatever you're striving towards at the moment?
Not a super clear one in sense of like material things, but
Hmm.
in
Doesn't have
in
to be
terms
material.
of well, yeah,
Mm,
there's definitely a sort of a level I'd like to be in terms of I'd love to just be traveling the world, doing what I love, doing my music and inspiring people, whether it's through conversations like this, um, yeah, through festivals. I love to perform at festivals and just I haven't even done a performance yet, and that's something I'm
mhm,
insanely excited to do, just to get up there and speak what I've been sitting in my room writing down all alone,
mhm,
speak it to a crowd, sing it to a crowd, hear them say it back. And yeah, so definitely in the future, I imagine performances nonstop around the world, traveling with my mum, traveling with my family, paying family mortgages off, just making just a lot of financial freedom
mhm.
for the people alive right now and future generations, and then giving back to the community. That's definitely one thing I 100% want to do when I'm able to do that. And just, yeah, just a future of happiness, comfortability, giving myself you know less stress, less stuff to worry about when you're not fighting for money, you're not
Yeah.
fighting for that next paycheck. You're comfortable and you can live your own life. that's my future.
Yeah, no, I get that as well. And like for everyone listening as well, you don't need to be 100% clear on where it is you are going.
Mm,
Just set your sights far into the future and take that first step. Because what you might find
yeah.
is you'll get 10 steps down the road, and then you're a little bit clearer on what the next 100 steps look like. Then
Hmm.
you do those 100 steps, and then you're clear on what the next 100 steps are.
Yeah.
We don't have to have the end result locked in low and in stone before we even start, because then that's why people never start.
Exactly. Just take it
Mm,
step by step. It's like I never would have, thought of writing a book, but now I'm reading so much and I'm doing all this work. I'd love to eventually like write a book, and that could be
mhm,
another avenue that helps people. It's like if it's never going to happen. I do love my music and I love writing and rapping.
mhm,
So, but um, just say it gets to the point where where my path isn't inspiring through music. It's inspiring through writing for people. It's inspiring through something else.
mhm,
Then I take that path. I'm not going to sit here and like, I'm going to be the biggest rapper. I'm going to be bigger than Drake and bigger than everyone. It's like,
mhm,
just take it step by step, have that main goal and play it by ear. It's like, step by step, man. And whatever comes, comes, we're working at God's speed. So
mm.
whatever plans you make, God laughs at them. I saw Big Sean say that once and it really hit me. Like God just laughs at your speed, God laughs at your plans and,
Mhm.
he's got his own plan for you. So just
Yeah.
just keep moving, keep taking steps, and keep working to evolve yourself, and it'll all work out, man.
Mhm. Well, on the topic of God's plan, has there been like
Hmm.
a particular failure that in the moment has been painful that has actually in retrospect led you on to a success of some kind? Now, that doesn't have to be in music,
Ooh.
that can be
Hmm.
through your own personal development, that can be through your relationships, something like that.
Ooh. Well, touching on the topic of weed, that was probably one of the biggest biggest eye openers at the time. I was like, so during one of the lockdowns, I had sneakily gone out and purchased like a marijuana vape, one of
Mhm,
those bud vapes, and they're crazy, man. They hit heavily. So I was one of the first times I had it. I puffed it and whatnot, and next thing I know, I woke up and I was just out of it, man, vomiting, just completely
wow.
not knowing what was going on. And coming out of that, there was a few days where I was just, words were being slurred and I was just not in the moment, especially around
Mm,
family and with family. Like that's just not acceptable.
mhm,
And at the time, it made me hate myself for sure. I was down on myself. I was like, what am I doing? My music, I talked it up that I was going to work so hard and get my family to a super successful place in the next 5 years. And what am I doing, man? I'm sitting here smoking marijuana and doing nothing with my life. And yeah, at the time it was really hard, but looking back on it, it's one of the best things that could have happened for me because
mhm.
it got me on this path of just put the butt away and get to work, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely exactly that. It was that eye opener that sort of, you have to go through these struggles and have to go through these lows to get to new heights. You can't,
Mhm.
yeah, you have to go through them. It's just a fact of life. There's as above, so below. You can't have this super high without sort of going through a super low. Otherwise, you won't really appreciate that new level of height you've reached.
Yeah, super powerful, man, and I can connect with that very, very deeply. So I have one last question for you, and
Go
before I
ahead.
ask that, I really appreciate you like sharing your time. We've been chatting about getting you on here for a minute, so
Yeah,
it's finally
for a minute,
happened.
man. I'm
Yeah,
super glad I came on, man. It's a
yeah.
sick conversation, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing as well for just the general. You guys have such a broad range of people coming on. I've seen spiritual coaches come up. I've seen people, through um s- crypto and stuff. I've seen just a bunch of people come on your podcast, and it's great that you guys are doing this for the country and for just the general industry. A lot, people that aren't super famous yet, never really
Mm-hmm.
feel that they can jump on a podcast. So, you reaching out really, I sort of manifested this. I was constantly
Mm-hmm.
talking to my friends like, oh, I can't wait to jump on Joe Rogan and speak what I'm writing. I can't wait for people to hear me in conversation talking about what I'm talking in my songs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you guys are really incredible for the culture and incredible for just general people, man. People trying to make it in life because really we're talking right now before the money. When people
Mm-hmm.
come back in 5 years, oh shit, they really talked all this stuff into fruition. because
Yeah.
this is before the money.
Exactly. I mean, it's in stone now. Like you can't go
Uh-huh.
back on your word, bro. You know,
Yeah, no
you've
way. Well, I'm telling you, this is
yeah
why I jumped on. I was like, man, 5 years when people watch these videos, this is the interview they're gonna see. Clip it
yeah
up. Oh shit! No one calls it out 10 years in advance.
yeah straight up. He
It's
predicted it.
coming.
Yeah, I really appreciate you kind of taking note of that, man. Because that's, I mean, like that's what fires me up. You know, I love kind of helping people. I love sharing knowledge of myself and knowledge from like the incredible guests like you like yourself that I get on. Like this has been the passion of mine, and I've only been doing it for probably like 6 months now, but
Mm.
I was like, I can't remember a time where I wasn't doing it. You know, there's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like it's a
There was
perfect fit for me.
one thing I wanted to mention as well.
Hmm.
You sort of inspired me to do this. I saw one of your stories recently where you mentioned that there was someone you wanted to get on the podcast who,
Hmm.
was at a high status already, and
Yeah.
you were like, oh, I'll wait till like we're at a higher point to message him, and you just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna message him and see what happens,
Hmm.
and ended up working out. He's jumping on, like I heard you say in your story, and seeing that, I took it in when I heard it, and then just sat in the mind. And then working on this album, I've wanted to get the cover art done. And I made a rough draft of what I wanted, and it was just like I am with a bunch of like positive words behind it.
Hmm.
And I was like, no, man, I really want like a really sick, dope work of art for this cover. And there's this TikTok guy I've been following since my days of scrolling on TikTok doing nothing with my life. Like 2 years ago, incredible artist. His name's Cody Tarantino, and so I was like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna message him. He's got like 1 million followers, but fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it. Send him a message, a real like solid paragraph asking about his work, if he did commissions and whatnot. And he's replied, and like we're getting it done. And it was just
Wow.
thanks to you, you sort of put that in my mind where it's like, man, don't doubt yourself. Like just message. What's the worst that can happen? They leave you on red. Cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like there's no negative coming out of that. So
That makes me
thank you for
really
that.
happy to hear that, man. Really happy because
Yeah.
that's the thing as well. This social media thing that we've got at our fingertips. It's super
Hmm.
powerful. Like anyone we want to communicate with, we can. But
Yeah.
yet still, we've got like this fear that that's that fear of abandonment. That we like
Uh-huh.
spoke about at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode. It's like we want to be liked so much that we don't put
Hmm.
ourselves out there. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's the very fact that you've gone out of your way to ask for what you want in life, like with this artist and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
it's happening. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic to hear. So my last question for you is, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or
Ooh.
alive, who would it be? What would you guys talk about?
One person, dead or alive, man. That's a big question. There's a lot
Mhm.
of people I'd love to go on dinner with. Um,
You can have a
Damn.
small
I'm
group
gonna.
if
All
you if
right.
you
Well,
need.
let's see. Let's see who we got on my vision board right in front
Hmm.
of me. All right. We're gonna go with three people, three
Hmm.
artists. I'm gonna go for Russ for sure.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go for Big Sean, definitely. And whew, we're gonna go two more. I'm gonna say J. Cole, and then I'm also gonna throw in Will Smith, man. I really
Yeah.
love Will Smith and his story. So definitely
Yeah.
those three, those four. And I don't know, man. I just want to hear them speak, hear them talk about their life, their mindset growing up, how they've traversed their way through success, their way through the lows, the highs, just everything, man. I just want to soak it all in and
Mm.
record it secretly or something.
Literally, that would just be so incredible to be, especially in like a small group there. Like that, just the
Hmm.
energy of that room would be
Oh
so
yeah,
infectious. Like you'd go out of
incredible.
there and you'd be up all night fucking writing a hit album.
Yeah, for sure. I'm reading a book currently called what's the book called? The Magic Ladder of Success. The
Yeah.
Magic Ladder to Success by Napoleon Hill, and he talks about the mastermind, and it's
Hmm.
everyone can you can do this all on your own, but when you get into a group or you have a bunch of people vibrating at the same frequency, working towards the same goal, it creates this mastermind, and it's like another cheat code. You have you alone putting all this positive action behind one thing is incredible. So having like 3 4 people doing that
Mm.
just times it tenfold. And yeah, like being in that conversation, being in a room or a dinner with those like 4 people of such high, I view them as such incredible. I
Yeah.
view them as gods. It's like, yeah, that'd just be incredible. But great question. I'd love to. that dinner will happen one day. Maybe not all 4 of them, but individually, one-on-ones for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You might just have to get them all out on your yacht one day.
Yeah, for sure. Keep yacht for a month.
Epic, man. Is there anything that I can do or my audience can do that can kind of help you on this journey of yours?
Well, get on Insta, get on the socials. Yeah, get ready for this album. Social media is it's Noah 222, so ITSNOAH 222. I'm definitely going to be picking up the content and picking up the work. This 2022, man, it's going to be a big year. Excited to get the album out. Yeah, it's just aiming to spread love, spread positivity, get people on their feet, and sort of provide people with a soundtrack for their success, man. Get people moving. So, yeah,
Wow.
just follow me on the socials, man, and stay and get ready for the takeover, bro. I'm very excited for this album to come out. So, yeah.
The soundtrack to success. Part of me just
That's the
feels like
one.
that should be the title of this episode.
Soundtrack to success, baby. Put it there.
I love it. I love it. Fantastic, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, sharing your wisdom. I've had lots of time. I've had lots of fun here, man.
Yeah, me
you're
too, man.
you're an
I
awesome
appreciate it.
energy. So
You're
thank
an
you so
awesome
much.
energy too, man. I appreciate you getting me on, and I appreciate all the work you've been putting in and everything you've been doing. So, thank you guys and everyone, man. Stay tuned into Before the Money and Anarchy. Sick brand, sick everything. So, I appreciate
Thank you
you,
so
man.
much.
I had a great time.
Awesome. And thank you guys for sharing your time with us. Like, this has been another great episode of Before the Money. So I will see you guys back bubbling with energy next week. Peace and love.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for hanging out, team. My intentions with today's chat were to leave you with a jolt of inspiration. But remember, knowledge is only powerful when we implement it in the real world. So get out there, expand your comfort zone, and go change some lives, starting with your own. All the links discussed in this episode, as well as everything you need to find me, are listed below. So go nuts and do some exploring. If you're feeling compelled to support our mission here at Before the Money, there are 3 simple things you can do right now that mean the world of difference. Number 1, leave behind a 5-star review so that all newcomers know we bring the goods. Number 2, send this to a loved one or post it on your channel of choice. This does help so much more than you guys think. And number 3, there is a link down below for you to donate a couple of dollars and help us cover the cost of leveling this shit up. We want to take it really seriously this year, guys, and we're already moving from strength to strength with your help. And as always, Before the Money is so proudly brought to you guys by AnikiLabel.com. Go check our stuff out. The team and I are so ridiculously grateful that you've chosen to spend this time with us, and we can't wait to see you again next week with more amazing content. Peace and love.